Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's D-Lo the Vet Bro here, also known as Lopez, the Gunline Chief. And I'd like to thank you for being here on the channel today. This week has been a hectic one with spring break, meaning I have all three kids here. And I don't know if you have any of yourselves, but I have a 14-year-old girl, a 12-year-old girl, and a 9-year-old boy. And needless to say, it's been challenging. So to all you teachers out there, salute to you all. You guys kick ass at what y'all do. But y'all can have them back next week. Anyway, today, man, is gonna be a Vepro reaction to something that I saw a while ago, and I wanted to react to it at the time. But it's a 20-year look back after the war, after the GWAT or Iraq actually. So we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that. Now, as I had mentioned to you all before, I like to have a picture in the background, and I would go tell y'all what it's about. And basically, this is in 2010, and that was me with my dismount crew out there in the wonderful, beautiful streets of Mosul. It kind of looks like TJ if you ever gone out there. But yeah, dude, this is my dismount crew. This would be I here in the middle. I believe that's Ellis over there. I'm thinking that's Fumich. And I'm thinking that this is Henderson, maybe. I'm not sure. Can't really remember, but this is my terp right here. And I'm not sure if this is my medic or the guy next to me is my medic. But medic used to want to always be on dismount with us just in the event that we got into some shit out there because Mosul wasn't the friendliest cities. And the way that we had it was there were times that they wanted us to dismount in point A, go through the streets patrolling, and then we'd link up with the trucks at point B. And the issue with that was, the medic was supposed to stay in the track or in the truck, but he asked me like, "Hey, Chief, can I roll with you?" And I'm like, "Let's do this, man. Come on." So he has some balls on him, on this mission right here specifically. We were out there, doing our little patrol, doing our atmospherics, as people like to say. And we expected to get fucked up this day. There was a funeral. And I wish I could show you the whole picture of this because this street is not that much wider than this angle shows. But there was a funeral, but we ended up making a right turn in one of these little small streets. And the way I used to like to do it was when I was dismounted, I would once I would catch up to my team that this fool right here and this fool right here would walk up to the next corner and they would, stand up right there and stand guard while the trucks pass by, and then I would come behind them and we push them over. Anyway, I just had my own little TTPs and that's that I did with them, and it worked out fine for us. But anyways, we ended up making a right turn. I believe our LT decided to make a sudden change to our mapping. And anywho, there was a funeral that happened to be going on, and at this funeral, it's like it was like a wake almost. So they had a tent out there, a big tent with the body in there and all the family and all that stuff. Unfortunately, they're in our way. And with that being said, we can't back up. We had I think 4 or 5 MRAPs with us. And again, very, very, very tight spots. So it's not like we could just back up, and it would put us in too much of in too much of a threat. The risk assessment was not looking good. So I had to go up there with my terp, unfortunately, and ask them to please move their tent and their funeral out of our way to let us pass through. And luckily, I didn't go in there aggressively. I didn't go in there like being an asshole. I just told them, hey, please excuse us. We're, have to put, I gave my little spill and I went up there respectfully to them, you know what I mean? And they were cool with it. They didn't give us no bad looks, no mean looks or anything. But I'll tell you what, there were plenty of people around that weren't too thrilled that we had to make some movements, and they felt disrespected. But luckily, we made it out of there and we Charlie Mike and RP'd. We made it back home. Luckily, there was no issues that day, but it could have gone south really bad. They could have fucked us up right there because we were stuck like Chuck. I hate those little streets, man. It was just it's hard to get through. Anywho, that's my story on that particular picture right there. Shout out to Doc Turner, shout out to Henderson, shout out to Ellis, shout out to Fumich, and I forgot my Terp's name. I think that was Sammy. But shout out to all of them, man. I mean, fine bunch of fellows that I got to lead out there, and I actually have a T-shirt that I made with this on the back, and it says "Cruising down the street with my M4." So go check out theundergunline.com. There's a link to the merch shop right there, and you'll find it. So, anywho, with that said, that's the end of that story there. Thank you for being here once again. If you haven't done so yet, do me a solid and smash that subscribe button. Then I need you to go ahead and hit the notification bell to all so you know when I'm dropping new content. Haven't dropped anything this week again. It's been what's that shit called? Spring break. Oh, goodness gracious. And then yeah. From there, do me a solid, give me a thumbs up or thumbs down, whether you dig it or didn't dig it. But comment what I could do better, or what you did dig, what you dug of it, or if you want to be a guest and visit and have an interview here on the Gun Line, and do an interview with me, that'd be cool. I'd love to have you. Hit me up either here in the comments or over at onthegunline@gmail.com. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and jump into this this video, which is Iraq War veterans 20 years later. I don't know how to explain myself. So this is a shout out to the New York Times. I'm borrowing this from y'all. Hopefully that fair use thing kicks in. And yeah. I know I'm saying a lot, y'all. It's been one of those weeks. Let me go ahead and share my screen, and we'll get this bad boy going here. Time me out. All right. 7 minutes in. Hopefully, if you haven't done so, you're smashing that subscribe button now. Let's do this. That's 2003, so this is initial invasion.
We all talk about how when we're going to go home, how proud we're going to be combat vets. I mean, how many people can say that they're combat veterans? 19 years old, I fought in a war. That's awesome. Nothing can beat that. That's the coolest thing in the world, It'd be fun to look back on. Just waiting to get to that point where I can look back on it.
Here it is.
For real. I'll tell you, I wasn't 19. I was 27 when I finally went to Baghdad. That's because I joined the army at 26. And I had the same mentality as he did. Like, I can't wait to get over there. I wanted to be up there as soon as I could. So once the war kicked off, I've told this story thousands of times. Once the war kicked off, they dropped the whole needing a high school diploma standard. They relaxed them a little bit, so I was able to jump in, and I made the most of it. And shout out to the Army for hooking a brother up and letting me live my dream. I did 10 good years. I would have been retiring this year in November. Would have been my 20th year. I would have been retiring. Unfortunately, halfway through, I ended up getting what's called a med board, and I was retired out early. So, anywho, but yeah, dude, that's basically the mentality we had going out there, specifically if you were combat arms, because you joined combat arms knowing you wanted to go and fuck shit up,
2003, they got us out here in Baghdad, life is hard, got us pulling fucking 2 hours of guard, then they ump it up to 8 between 12, I don't give a fuck, I think I'm stuck in hell, I'd rather be there instead of jail.
Facts.
Putting Baghdad on the map, send me my mail.
It's not a moment of the day that go by that not a thought about Baghdad never crosses my mind. It made me who I am today. Go into a country where you don't know nothing. Knowing it's going down, knowing you're hearing the bombs and the gunshots. It's real now. Like, you've been trained for it. They done told you about it. Now you're here.
Looking like old Haifa Street over there in Baghdad.
Calm down. It's a wedding day. They Yeah, lucky load, man. I'm already ready.
That's the worst shit you can go through at the age that we was going through it.
Ooh, shit. That explosion in the background, that fucking just gave me the chills like a bitch. When I got there, it was in 05, December 05. And it was just past Christmas and then hit New Year's. And it was 06. But that's what it sounded like out there. We were on OP7 in our fob. Because like he was saying, like, you go out there and they switch up the shit on you. Like we had our main effort, which was fucking going on patrols or convoys between point A and point B. A lot of times it was going from the green zone out to the BIOP, which is the airport, or all the way down south to Al Hila, as far north as to Taji. And anyways, but you were just constantly hearing that shit just off in the distance, and then you would hear the booms like all around, dude. It was fucking, eventually you get used to it, but yeah, good times.
We're trying to hit the campfire.
Someone smoking a cigarette in the shitters?
Ooh wee.
What are you gonna do when you get out of the army? Be a fucking rock star.
You always had that one dude that played the guitar.
Sometimes I remember, oh yeah, that's right, I went to Iraq. Now that I have a kid, sometimes I find myself thinking, is he going to end up going to some war that ends up not doing any good for the world and receive a bunch of shitty care afterwards?
Dude. Pause right there. That hits deep. That fucking hits deep right there, cause I'll speak for myself. I was excited to go to Baghdad, fuck shit up, bring, democracy and all that good shit out there and stop the terrorists from coming over here. And 20 years later, you reflect and like, the only song I could think about when I think about my time over there is a song by Freddie Fender called Wasted Days and Wasted Nights. Honestly. The benefit of going out there was I got to see and travel the world, and the friendships that I built. Other than that, shit came out of it. And what's the trip is after when 9/11 happened and I kicked off, I ended up going to war in 05. Well, I joined in 04. My nephew Eric was still a little kid, and lo and behold, he ended up getting in and still fucking caught the tail end of the GWAT. No, did he get? Yeah, I think he's caught the tail end of the GWAT. So that's fucking crazy to me. He went from being a little kid to me. I'm retired, and then he's in. He's in now. So shout out to my nephew Eric. Anywho, moving on. Shitty care afterwards. Facts.
I think we were in Baghdad for a few days, and then we were in a firefight outside the Abu Hanifa Mosque. And it was just totally bizarre. Just fucking gunfire everywhere, a couple of RPGs. And I was just thinking, what the fuck am I doing here? And that question never went away. I don't know how to explain the war to myself, and have yet to have any clear thought of like, yes, we actually made a difference there, because we didn't at all. There was no difference fucking made. Maybe for the worse.
The area I come from is very small. Not a lot of opportunities for people fresh out of high school. So it's either community college or go do something, travel the world, get paid for it, experience places like this. I had swore I'd never join the army. I watched my brother come home all rigid when I was like 12, and I was like, no way. And then
he called me and he said, "You watching this shit?" And I said, "What?" He goes, "Turn on the television." And about 30 seconds after I turned on the television, the second plane hit. When that happened, one, I was mad, it's just my fucking backyard. But I immediately thought, you know, this is what I need to do. I need to defend I just felt it. I just had to do it. I had to go join my brother. I had to be by his side. There was no way I was going to let my brother go into a war and me not be there.
Facts.
We'll keep one saw back here. Just know where your people are. And we got the rear. So you
Damn.
start holding that like a fucking meeting.
That deployment was funny because there was no clear-cut mission. The whole time you're wondering, like, what are we really?
There was never a clear-cut mission, in my opinion. Granted, I was just a lowly private and then a staff sergeant on my deployments. So I don't know what the bigger picture was because they always talk about the bigger picture. Now, I don't know, man. I mean, is it one of those pictures that you have to fucking unfocus your eyeballs to see what's inside of it and see a 3D image? Because I still don't know what the fuck we were doing out there. I was just glad I had the experience though at the time. And as you could tell, again, this is in 03 because these motherfuckers are riding out there, thin-skinned Humvees or just out in the open like that. When I got there, we had what they call up armored, the 1114s. But anywho, the Hajis, they were smart. They adapted to that and started fucking us up with EFPs.
Doing? Are we really in combat? Are we not in combat? Who's actually?
God damn, my boy got that
now
nose.
You're in Baghdad. Now you're in the heart of Adamia.
I guarantee you, he could fucking
now
snort an
what?
8-ball.
Was going through my mind was it was dark out and I couldn't see my fingers. Basically, I was hoping I still had my fingers. I couldn't tell where I was shot.
Damn.
I just knew my arm was numb. And I found out I had my fingers and I could move them. The doc came by and he was patching me up, and we just had a shallow conversation about, you know, oh wow, man, you got shot. And I was like, yeah.
And I think I was only 19 at that point. And to be shot in the first 2 weeks of a 16-month deployment was setting the tone, to say the least.
They say the first 100 days and the last 100 days of your deployment are the fucking most active.
IEDs are the scariest.
Mhm.
Gunfire and crap like that, that shit don't bother me. You know, it's whatever. But IEDs, they had that shit in garbage, man, and it could be anywhere.
You riding through the hood and you see a milk jug on the side of the road, but the milk jug look kind of cut, or a trash bag. The trash bag look kind of ripped up. That's the shit that they will put the fucking bombs in.
Facts.
You're on the road. Possible IED.
Oh, don't miss that at fucking all, man. Got hit with a couple IED and a V-bid out there in Baghdad on the first deployment. And don't miss that at all. Do not fucking miss that at all. Because even to this date, when it comes to going under an overpass, or if I see some shit on the side of the fucking roads, it still fucks with you, even though you know you're not over there, man. It's just like that secondary reaction. It's that muscle memory that, you know, you kind of twitch. And anywho, if you know, you know. Gunshots, like he was saying, we used to get blasted at, especially on Irish. We used to get busted at all the fucking time. I remember Holguin one time. He was the gunner behind me. And there's this mosque right outside of checkpoint 12, going on Irish, right past right where the Irish and what's that motherfucking route, man, that goes to Fob Falcon. I forget what the name was, but they used to bust at us from there, just and like, oh, they're shooting at us again. Yeah, contact 3:00. They're shooting out the mosque again. But unfortunately, our stupid ass fucking rules of engagement was hostile act or hostile intent, and you had to have positive identification. That was the biggest thing, positive ID, because if not, we couldn't just blast where we heard it was coming from, you know, do a nice little death blossom. Couldn't do that because, you know, we had to win the hearts and fucking minds. Bastards.
I don't see any wires, but it's on the surface.
We found Coke cans with plastic explosives in them on the corner. And when you're walking around a neighborhood that's literally, I mean, trash up and down the streets.
My boy crazy doing
you
that
can tell
shit.
Where they are.
You see us when we're going around corners. There's a box on the side of the road. It's just
Fucking got the chills here.
cringe and take the turn. Hopefully you don't hear a bang.
I still cringe when I pass garbage. I ask my wife, she goes nuts. I avoid garbage like the plague on the road. I will swerve my car to the other side. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
We're riding in the open tailgate of a truck, and people are getting fucked up all the time, and we'd still go out there with it.
Part of our $87 billion budget provided for us to have some secondary armor put on top of our thin-skinned Humvees. This armor was made in Iraq. It's high-quality metal.
Military grade.
And it will probably slow down the shrapnel so that it stays in your body instead of going clean through. That's about it.
And my friends, what y'all need to understand, that's the type of fucking mentality or humor you need to maintain out there in order to keep on surviving and keep on pushing through to the next day. If you don't, it's gonna fuck with your psyche, and you won't be combat effective. And I'll tell you what, I don't know if it was on Band of Brothers or if it was on Full Metal Jacket, but somebody said, once I think it was on Band of Brothers, he had said it like, once you accept you're dead, it just makes the war easier. Something like that. I'm not fucking quoting him 100% correctly. And Holguin had this one little humorous shit he would do to me every fucking time we were going on mission. He would get on the VIC system. He's like, "Hey, Lopez," and I would turn around like, "Yo, what's up?" And he would look at me and point. He would point his finger and be like, "You get blown up today." Every fucking mission, he would tell me that, man. And it just became a joke after a while. You know what I'm saying? It was just something that it will keep me on my toes, because honestly, after our first mission, Holguin was on that. The first time we went out the wire when we got fucked up by the 2 EFPs, I needed to have that on my mind because I did not want to become complacent and become a statistic and just be left on the side of the fucking road, yo. There's this good documentary called Gunner's Palace. Y'all go check that shit out, man.
When we first got here, they were waving at us, and next minute, as soon as we drive by, we'd get shot at.
Fuck
And
you,
for some days,
America.
they'd look at
I
us
remember that.
mean and give us gestures that they didn't want us there. And
When I first got there, I noticed a lot of people doing this to me. Fuck you. Fuck you, American. They didn't say fuck
It doesn't
you.
mean
They were
fuck
just-
you, America. That
And
means
about
like
4 months
slow
into it,
down or
my interpreter looks at me and goes,
kick back.
Sergeant Beatty, have patience.
Or that.
Wait, what? Have patience.
So they taught us that as well before we went over there. That was some of the stuff that that I guess they could say it was lessons learned before our deployment, because my rotation was, I guess, OIF 4. And some of the things that they taught us, like, learn this hand gesture here. It means like patience, like, slow down or kick back, you know what I'm saying? So that one we had to learn. I mean, I could see them thinking like that's what it meant, but what he said was funny because those motherfucking little badass kids, they'll be like, Mista, I love America, chocolate, or $1, Mista. Like, hey, I ain't got nothing for you, kid. And they'll be like, well, fuck you, America. And they start throwing rocks at your motherfucking Humvees, little badass motherfuckers. But unfortunately, kids will be kids, but whatever. Fuck them kids.
We hit houses with the wrong address.
Oh.
And then we'd have to apologize because we just kicked your door in, or we just blew your door in, or we just damaged your house at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that fool flagged him. But I mean,
Stay on to the front. Stay on to the front. Breezy, come here. Hold on. Get down. Get down. Get down.
No rest. No rest.
I think of this and just imagine it was your home.
And the psychological side of it, now, I still carry.
Yeah, you see that in the camera. I'm journalist. You do that. You're mistaken this.
I still think about that guy. I still remember punching him in the face.
When he was going for this one, I punched him in his fucking face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's his glasses right there.
If you look and you put yourself in their place, how would you feel if you had
Just said that.
someone kicking in your door and you as the man want to protect your family and me coming through the door with bad intentions? Because the intel that I received told me you're a bad guy.
Mm-hmm. You can only go with what you got, man.
Shut your mouth.
You know what ends up fucking up is shit like that just makes more enemies.
I'm always going to carry that. And
I'm with you, pimp.
I'm still working on that.
Pick him up. He goes outside the wall.
Just I told him shut him.
Yeah.
He's protecting his house. He gets punched in the face, put on his damn back, ends up in Abu Ghraib, and he's never going to get that time back. So I think about that.
It is what it is, though. You know, that's just collateral damage, shit that
I don't feel like I'm
happens.
defending my country anymore, and that kind of sucks. And that's the whole purpose when you're a kid to join the army. A lot of people feel it's like, you know, defend your country, but we're not defending our country anymore. I know we haven't defended our country in a while, but
I didn't agree with the Iraq War when I went in. I went in for Afghanistan. I joined to go fight in the mountains. I wanted to fight I wanted to fight the Taliban.
Right.
You know, unfortunately, once you join, you have no politics. You're property. You know, you go where they send you.
Facts. I hate that music. I don't miss it. I don't want to say I hate it, but I don't miss it.
I thought we were invincible. We were kids. We were just invincible. We're going to go here. We're going to do this, and we're going to get out. And I tell people to this day, the day that I grew up was November the 1st, 2003. That was the day I grew up.
I think that's the day we all grew up.
January 6, 2006 for me.
And you say that day, and it just...
We just got the call over the radio that one of our Humvees was engaged with some kind of RPG or IED. Nobody knew what it was at first. It just hit, and it hit hard. Our Humvee was limping back to the compound, and we're getting status reports just constantly. And we all just kind of went on with what we had to do that night. And then we got up the next day, and they told us we had a 9 o'clock formation. Nobody told us as to why. And I lined up the whole battery. And the BC came out.
Oh, the artillery.
He was already crying. He was really shook up. And we knew something was bad.
BC and artillery is battery commander, not battalion
They told us
commander.
that during the night that Lieutenant Colgan had died. And then everybody's heads just went down. You could hear the gasps and tears on a lot of people.
I think most people really wanted to go out and just kill everybody after that. That was the first death we had suffered in the battalion, and then we'd had people hurt, but no one had died yet. That's a really big thing to just grasp all of a sudden.
It's one of those things you'll never forget.
Facts.
Several other people in our unit were killed. Lieutenant Saltz, PFC Moore, Sergeant Major Cook was killed. Sergeant McKeever.
Rest in peace, boys.
And you know what's fucked up about this? These guys are artillerymen. All right, just by the fact that he said, you know, battery. I know that they're artillerymen. So this goes to show you that wasn't our job. Our job was to shoot artillery, right? Unfortunately, there's not that much of a need for artillery in a fucking city like that. So once they have all their guns in place and their crews, everybody else that's in the battery that's not being used for field artillery, guess what you're going to be doing? What they were doing, what I'm doing in that picture in my background. You know what I'm saying? So we get trained up to a certain extent, but we out there ground pounding, baby. We ain't infantry, but we sure did their job. That's why I said, man, field artillery. We could do everybody else's motherfucking job, but they can't do ours. That's why we're the king of motherfucking battle.
All like talking about that shit is so fucking depressing, man. You just have no idea. You have no idea, man.
So what does it do to a generation of young people during these deployments?
They become old. They are old young men.
Yeah, I mean, I feel more grown up. I mean, I've changed a lot in the last, year.
You get a bigger
For people back in
appreciation
the States, it was just
for
a
life.
year. Nothing really changed. You just got a year older. For me, it was like, a lifetime. I feel I've grown up 20, 30 years out here.
And every day it was, well, I guess I'm just doing what I'm doing today so that I can get to tomorrow, so that we can get to our 365 days and leave.
And Chuck Deuces.
And then that changed. Then we stayed out there for a few more months. I think it was like 419 days that we were there. Maybe George Bush should fund my fucking guitar business.
He owes me a beer, at least, at the minimum.
The Iraqis are probably wondering how in the hell are they supposed to believe in a system that we force fed them when our system doesn't even work. Going back to
Message.
George Floyd.
Say it again for the people in the back, brother.
There. Maybe George Bush should fund my fucking guitar business.
He owes me a beer, at least, at the minimum.
The Iraqis are probably wondering how in the hell are they supposed to believe in a system that we force fed them when our system doesn't even work. Going back to George Floyd. 2 words, not okay. There's actually a picture of me in Time magazine with my knee on a suspected terrorist's chest. It wasn't on his carotid artery. It was across his chest. All these shootings, not okay.
All right, I'm not gonna get into the politics of this bullshit. So, okay, it's about to end here soon, in about 2 minutes. So I'll let it play out.
Doesn't like the Army too much because, took both her boys and we're over here. She hates that, but she's very proud and nothing beats it. It's the greatest feeling in the world.
Nice bike.
Jason's bike was always affectionately known as the asshole because that was my brother. Fuck, I missed it.
Damn, I'm guessing he didn't make it. Fuck. Hey, rest easy, homie. 4 deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan. God damn, baby. That shit gets to you. That shit does get to you, y'all. Especially if you're in combat arms. But, we asked for it. It's what we wanted. And coming back to the world, it's very difficult, especially when you're trying to reconnect with the world. And you feel disconnected. Like, I see a lot of motherfuckers out there. Like, there's this dude, like the veteran coach or whatnot. And, no shade to whatever he does, but sometimes, I get it. Some people need that kick in the ass, that fire in the ass. But sometimes, bro, you just got to live through what we went through. And the best way to do it is, like I said, for me, it's this. I call this my fucking therapy with a therapist, especially when I do a shoot the shit episode when I'm hanging out with another veteran. Those are my favorites because we learn from each other, and it helps out also the community that's listening. So again, if you want to go ahead and come and chill out and do a shoot the shit episode with me here on the Under Gun Line podcast, I welcome anybody, everybody, anytime. Hit me up on the gunline@gmail.com. Let's go ahead and finish this off. Rest easy. That's why a lot of veterans also go to hang out with MCs. Is that community, man, that brotherhood, as cliche as it sounds.
When shit gets dark, and you're thinking about ending it or whatever, you call someone. Jason was that phone call for me, and I was always that phone call for Jason. So it was hard for me when he did do what he did. The first few months, and then he called. Why didn't he call me? And I don't have to answer.
Fucking radio chatter in the background. If you ever been in a Humvee or on a mission, you know that little beep. Damn. Yo, I guess that's going to be it for this one, y'all. I appreciate you guys being here with me. This was a tough one, man. This one was a tough one. If you guys enjoyed it, do me a solid and give me a thumbs up. If you made it all the way through, thank you. Hit the subscribe. I'm going to keep trying to do stuff like this that's, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? Entertaining, but at the same time, like helpful. So, I mean, especially there's veterans out there, just know you're not alone, homie. And if you tell another veteran that you're going to be there for them to call you whenever, make sure you fucking be there whenever. 3 o'clock phone calls, 4 o'clock in the morning phone calls. Be there to answer the phone. Don't just talk about it. Be about it. The reason I say that is I've seen and I've spoken to other vets who they said like they called different other fellow vets and nobody answered. And he didn't have my number, I don't think. So he ended up hitting me up on Instagram through there, through the call there. And I ended up answering right there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say that for clout or anything like that. What I'm saying is I always tell people I'm here for you if you need me. I may not have the answer, but I'll sit with you. You know what I mean? If you're inside a hole and I can't dig you out of it, fuck it. I'll jump in there with you and we'll sit together and figure it out. Anywho, with that said, subscribe to the channel if you dug this. If you want to go ahead and support the podcast, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up or give me a comment. That helps push it out to the YouTube sphere. And I just want to keep growing this. All right. That'll be it for today. D-Lo the Vet Bro, letting you go. Hopefully I'll catch you next week on the Under Gun Line podcast on Monday or Tuesday, whatever day it is. Anyways, I got to go smoke a cigarette, y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one.